Hello.
Hello, how are you? Happy Sunday
Sunday.
shift.
Happy Sunday shift. Please make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe, you tell a friend to tell a friend about us.
You
I'm looking for,
comment?
yeah, and comment. You know, we love the comments. And I'm really looking forward to talking about this today because I got some things to say.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's Sunday, it's sunny. It's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful day. I went out for a walk earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's something I'm madly disappointed in that's not about GH. I'm disappointed about The Acolyte
Acolytes.
not getting season
Mhm.
2. Did you end up watching season 1 at all?
I haven't, but I am. It's on my list of things. You know what I started watching?
What?
Veep. And so I've been watching Veep, and it's gotten in the way of the acolytes. But you know, I love
Oh,
me some Manny Jacinto. I love that jawline. I'm gonna get into
yes.
it.
I am so that's what I'm really disappointed about because I want to see his story that the character that he plays. I want to see that character story. And they hinted at another, pretty famous, Sith Lord. And now we don't get to see that story played out. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm super disappointed. And somebody, I think it was Star Wars Holocron, that's the name of the Twitter account or the X account. And they were saying that there's a lot of stories or shows that don't start off great, but end up becoming iconic. They named
yeah.
Clone Wars, the TV series, was an example. Like the first season was just like meh. Even the movie, they had a pre-movie about it, which was meh. But it ended up after what 7 seasons becoming the most iconic, the must-see part of the Star Wars canon, and they did not give Acolyte that same kind of chance. And it's because we have a whole bunch of haters in the Star Wars fandom, mainly, nerdy white boys who ain't got nothing else to do with their life, upset that there isn't a white man lead. And they're just, and it's
Hmm.
not being done by a man. It's like a woman had the gall to write this story and produce this story and then fill it with a bunch of people of color. Oh my God, this is horrible. That kind of attitude. And they go on Reddit and they go on wherever tomatoes and throw a bunch of rotten tomatoes at the show, even though the show was amazing and I loved it. And I wanted to see that story played out. So I'm disappointed in fandom that destroys good potential.
Well, that's I feel like that happens across fandoms, and sometimes it'll be like
Right.
Star Wars fans are this way, or Star Trek, or soap, or whatever.
Right.
I think fandom in general is tough.
It is
It's really
tough.
tough. It's hard,
So, yeah.
especially like when I think so many people get their bread and butter from disliking it. You
Ooh.
know, like it's really hard in fandoms to like gain traction or whatever when you really like something. It
Yeah.
always has to, and even when you really like something, it always ends up in contrast with something else. So like I watch Bridgerton, I'm into the books, I'm into the show. And like even people who are celebrating their fandom or their couple, like the people who have like the biggest like voices of it, it's because they hate another couple or they're like complaining about the rest of the show. So like complaints has always been the thing that has gotten fandom so much traction. And I really
Mm-hmm.
hate that because I think that there
Yeah.
are just like normie people who want to enjoy something and who want to like listen to people who enjoy something. I
Yeah.
honestly think that's why people sometimes listen to us because I mean, we can get tough on the show for sure.
Yeah.
We can get tough on the show when the show is tough to watch, but in general, we like the show. We
Right.
I was a Nina hater, still a Nina hater, but in general, like, I can tell you the things I like, I can tell you the things I don't like. We can talk about the things that need to improve, but there's a reason that we watch this every day. Um, and
Yeah,
it's
I
really
mean,
hard when people just like dislike it and that's it.
like there are characters that I do not like,
Hmm.
but I what I appreciate is that they add a dynamic or they add a story that I can get into, right? Like
Hmm.
I still can't stand Cody as a character But the dynamic of him being in the life of Max and Mac and Maxie and what he brings to that story, I appreciate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so um that doesn't mean I want the show to end. It doesn't mean I want him fired in particular. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that, the show should stop altogether. It just means
Mm-hmm.
that there's a part of the story that I don't like and I'll say it, but I'm not going to be
Mm-hmm.
on GH 24/7 saying, I hate this man, I hate this man, I hate this man. You need to let him go. You need to let him. I'm not going to do that on social media because
Mm-hmm.
the actor doesn't deserve it. The writers don't deserve it. The show does not deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what happened to the acolyte, and I'm sorry to see that go because I know they all worked hard,
Mm-hmm.
and the fans deserve the opportunity to see how this story ends. And so, Disney, I feel like you made a mistake,
Yeah.
and I hope you change it.
Yeah.
But
I think that's always, especially when it comes to those streaming shows, it's
yeah,
hard to get into them until you realize how many see, you know what I mean? Because
right,
like now I can go into it and like know this is the end and I won't feel disappointed. Like
yeah,
you are. Like there's a real
yes,
disappointment that
yeah,
comes. We're talking about everything but GH, but we promise we'll talk about GH. But
yes,
I didn't watch Lost when it was on.
oh,
Sandra watched Lost.
uh-huh,
And so during the height of the pandemic, they were like, you should just watch this. And I was like, okay. And so I'm like talking to Sandra about this show. And I'm like, I'm not as mad as everybody else was when they were watching it because they
mm-hmm.
had to wait. You know how you used to have to do shows back in the day? You have to wait the whole summer and people are on
Yeah,
message boards and people are doing all the
right,
things. I'm just like, next episode. You know what I mean? I didn't have
right,
to wait.
yeah.
And
So
that show was like so kind of ridiculous with like the conspiracy theories, and it was so clear that the fans were thinking about the show more than the writers were.
right, we had a lot of thoughts about it. I remember watching it, and then I guess I got a little bored with it because I didn't watch all of the last couple of seasons, but
Okay.
the first season had me hooked. I
I
was
think
like,
that's true.
what is
That
happening?
makes
What is
sense. That makes
this?
sense.
So, but
And then when
yeah,
you realize they didn't know, you were like, I'm done
like,
here.
oh, yeah, this is like, y'all don't even know where you're going with this. This is all over the place. I'm done. And then I think I was in college too, so I had other things to focus on.
Hmm.
I was just like, let me figure
Get out of
my own
here.
life out and stop getting obsessed with this show. But anyway,
Well,
yes.
I feel like I look like what I've been through. I was telling
Ah,
Tanya before we hopped on, I've had a rough day. My
yes.
carpal tunnel, like a very like is crazy. I couldn't even my whole thing is like, okay, I'm back to my natural hair. I'm gonna twist it out. Friends, I did not twist it out because I only have one working hand. So it's something underneath this scarf. Shout out to headscarves.
Yeah. I'm liking that my headscarf
I
matches
love
my shirt.
yours.
I love the motif that I've got going on. And
It's
so,
very cute.
thank you.
Yours is cute. Mine is like, oh, I didn't do my hair. You
Well,
know?
I didn't either. I didn't do it either, but it's either way. So it doesn't matter. We're here to talk about GH and we're
Let's
gonna have a
hop
good
into it.
discussion. So,
Performer of the
okay,
week.
yes, I have a couple.
Yeah, I know you do.
And we're gonna talk about just the performances right now. I feel one, um, Kristen Vaganos, who
Wait,
plays Molly.
how did she
Um,
get us to like her this much? Because
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
even learn her name at first. We was just
Right.
new
We,
Molly.
new, because we couldn't invest because we didn't know when GH was going to get serious about an actress, and they finally did. And kudos, and I'm glad for her. I think she did amazing this week, and yeah, snap, snap. Another person also playing off of her, Kate Mancy, snaps to that. Also, always Maura West.
I
I
mean,
appreciate Maura West, man. And I just she always looks good at it, but she had some key scenes with Maurice Bernard, with Tabiana. I mean, just amazing. And so, oh, and then even the guy we don't like, what's his name? Who, John Jacob Hammer Smith. She, I mean,
oh,
she
I thought
played
you were
it
saying
all.
he was performer of the week. I was like, I
No,
gotta stop you.
no, against him. She played him. I mean, she was just like okay, maybe you'll save me, but I'm freaked out by your intensity and your weirdness right now. And but I'm playing it cool because I am Ava Jerome, and so I'm not gonna let you freak me out. But you're freaking me out. That performance, I was like, that's
Mm-hmm.
so nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And so Maura West always queen forever,
Always.
always.
I also had Finn Carr, who plays Rocco. I watch
Oh
it a
yeah.
lot of times with the group, and so like people are like chatting when it's happening. So he
Uh-huh.
comes on the screen, and everybody's like, "Who is this?" I'm like, "Yo, that is Rocco," and he's been Rocco for a minute now. I know
Yeah.
that name is kind of dumb, but
Right.
he's
It is kind of dumb.
every time I see him, I think about Elmo. Shout out to Elmo and his beef with Rocco. Uh, but I did think he did a really great job in his scenes with Dom.
Yeah.
Like, those that's hard to do, to like drop in to not really be a person who we see day to day, and
Uh-huh.
then be able to pull emotion out of like talking about somebody who you don't know,
Who you've never
could
met.
who you never met, because he's never played alongside any
Right.
version of Lulu.
Right.
So being able to like make us feel that, I was like, okay, okay, Lante baby. I've never had any use for Lante or their baby, but but I thought he did an excellent job.
Oh yeah, and I remember I thought he was very memorable when I think it was when Danny was coming home late or something, and they were having a conversation. I think, oh, it was when Dante was coming back home. Danny was nowhere to be found and no one knew where he was. And Sam and Dante were telling, Rocco to take Scout upstairs, and he's like, "Come on, Scout. There's a business that we got to mind upstairs," or something like that. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah.
just like, I see this man, this little man.
Yeah, he's like really snarky. You
Yeah,
could completely buy him as Dante's son.
right.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. He's really
So,
good.
yeah,
I mean, I talked to Tanya, we were gonna hold like what the performances were when we did Performer of the Week so that we could dive into them as we talk. So we're gonna go
yes.
story by story. We're gonna leave kind of the big story to later on, and we're
Yeah.
gonna talk a little bit about some other ones first.
Hmm.
So I wanna first talk about Jason and Sonny versus Anna. So Stacey is back together. They didn't take it slow. They just jumped back into where they were. Which is, you know
Yeah.
what? I really wanted that too. They were like, "Are we starting over? Or are we picking back up like we where we left off?" And he was like, "We're picking
We're
up."
just picking it up. It's no big
He's like,
deal.
"I wanted that too, like all of
Right.
that."
I
So
I last week I said I really wanted the come to Jesus conversation with Sunny, but it looks like they don't have time for that, and so I'm okay with that because, like I said, we all wanted um, Jason and Sunny to get back together. We didn't want it to be a big deal, and I think I can justify them not having that conversation because they understood it really wasn't about Sunny. It was about him being off his meds, and they've been through that before, and they know what it's like. And so I can understand Jason just like brushing it off and moving on.
mhm.
But he still, I think Jason's the thing about the Jason and Sunny versus Anna is that there is still some things that Jason doesn't necessarily quite agree with Sunny in doing, and he's still kind of trying to guide him a little bit because he's just like, I don't like that we're using Anna as a pawn, or I don't
Yeah.
like these other scenarios. But he still has a little bit of a difference of opinion with Sunny, but at the end of the day, he's gonna stay loyal, and that is why he told Sunny about Valentine.
Hmm.
So, yeah, he still has his own mind. He still makes his own choices, and I appreciate that. He still,
Yeah.
so, but
But
yeah,
that's also always been, not always, but like
right.
as more recent years
Yeah, as
had
he's
been
gotten
Sunny and Jason's
his
dynamic.
dynamic, right,
And it's why I was always saying Sunny didn't really work without Jason.
right,
Actually, I think Carly's character is kind of being depleted with Jason around, to be quite
right,
honest.
yeah,
But Sunny does not work without Jason. even when he had Dex, Dex was just a yes man. Dex
Yeah.
was like, he was teaching him the ropes. He wasn't respected as an equal. Sonny knows that Jason has his best interest in mind. There's like, when they're on, there's 100% trust there. He's not looking over
Right.
his shoulder. He's not worried about him.
Right.
And he takes his ideas into consideration.
Yes.
And you didn't have that before. When it wasn't Jason, you would have had Sonny go find the doctor. You would have had Sonny go do all of these things that
Mm-hmm.
do not make sense or mesh with the mystique of Sonny being a boss.
Right.
Like even having to take Dex out to the Pine Barrens and all that. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah. He
You're
would
the
have never done
boss.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in your office making the calls, not out in the street getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Which is why that one scene, do you remember when he was like looking wild with the guy in the trunk?
Oh yeah, that
It
was
was
hecka
like,
wild.
what's
That
going on?
and then the stairwell incident. I think they were
Hmm.
meeting someone in the stair. I was like, that's not
Right.
Sunny.
So first of all, we don't even see Jason doing stuff like that. Like
Right.
we know it happens, but
Exactly.
we don't see
See
it.
it. Yeah.
And seeing Sunny do that just felt really off. So having Jason back actually gives Sunny a balance that no romantic relationship has ever given him. And
Right.
so Sunny and Sunny's character has really gone up since, aside from just being on the meds,
Right.
since Jason's been around.
Yep. I agree. And I think the fact that we didn't see Jason doing these things, but we knew he doing these things, and then him showing up to some place and wigging people out, that was also part of the mystique of Jason. Like that's how
Hmm.
he's intimidating. You hear that he's done these things, but you don't actually see it. So that when he just shows up and he doesn't even have to say anything, and folks are like, "Oh my god, I didn't do it," or whatever you want, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, then it's like, great, that's great. Like he doesn't have to say, he doesn't have to be intimidating. Just his presence, his silence
Hmm.
is intimidating, and that's the Jason that's a little bit titillating for me.
Yeah.
you know
Oh no. Oh.
or like
Uh,
when he goes into to the interrogation room and he doesn't say anything and all the cops are ranting at him and getting mad and frustrated. I love it.
hmm.
I love that. That's like some people are annoyed by silent Jason, but for me, silence speaks louder than a lot of words, and I like that when he's like he's not giving anything.
Yeah, that's the power. Um, I Sunny and Anna going at each other. When Sunny said to Anna, he might have been doing it from your bed about Valentine,
Woo!
I gasped like something had happened in my house.
You're like,
How dare you, sir? Like,
you're just like,
I could not believe it. I said, did they let him say this to her? It was a
and
wild
she didn't
line.
smack him either.
I'm like, Anna, knock over a bottle of water or something.
Something,
Don't take this. It was
That's
a
just it.
wild thing to say. And I don't understand what they're doing with Anna. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you know I love Anna down. And I actually think that having her go against Sunny, particularly because we have seen her closeness with Sunny in the past, this does not make sense for me.
Right.
I think other people can maybe make it make sense, but for me, I understand the idea of hypocrisy. Like her being talking to Jason about like Karen, Anna, you weren't even
Yes.
around for Karen, or saying
Right.
that like Sunny, like I don't know why we're trying to bring up that Sunny like manipulated a young Jason. Jason's 50 something now. So even if that is true, we're done with that.
And he made the conscious decision anyway, as an adult, as time went on, as he became more of himself, he still made the conscious decision to stay with Sunny. It's not a manipulation. He knows what he's doing, he knows why he's doing it, and he's okay with it. So he's not being manipulated at all.
Hmm.
And so you're right. For them to keep bringing that up, like he's still like too stupid to understand what he's doing. is crazy. Um,
Yeah, it's not a good one. And like I said, even with the Karen piece, I mean, I think that everybody should have to answer for their actions, but I don't actually need Sunny answering for things in a whole nother time period. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
y'all,
that's what makes the Anna thing so interesting, because Anna recently felt guilty about the actions that she did as a double agent,
mm,
and she was, feeling like she was horrible and all the things, and now she's visiting that same kind of judgment on Sunny,
mhm.
which is really crazy and wild.
And not giving that same judgment to Valentine. Now, granted, that's your man. You stand beside him. I'm not mad about that. I am not mad about Anna having layers. I'm not mad about her having um complications. I'm not even mad about her having like like being a hypocrite in some instances. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that's what's happening. And so when she was like talking to Jason, like it could be Sunny or it could be me, I was like, oh, so, girl, no, this is not a difficult choice for Jason. He's out of here.
Right. And it also sounded like, I don't know, it didn't sound like Anna. It sounded like a dirty, like when I see when I think of dirty cops, I don't think of dirty cops that are women. I don't know. For some reason, I inherently believe that women cops are always going to be the moral equivalent of a good person. But
I
she's
never believe
doing,
that.
but for women, I've never seen dirty cops be men. And so it's kind of jarring, or never seen dirty cops be women, so it's kind of jarring to me that Anna's in that behavior, and I guess, it's sexist to believe that. I understand, but for some reason I never thought Anna would go there, and she's going there.
Yeah, but
It's crazy.
I don't feel like she was I don't feel like she was dirty copping in that. I mean, which is
Not
a
the
good,
dirty cop isn't
but
like, selling drugs and then killing folks, not that kind of dirt, but morally questionable kind
yeah,
of.
but I think that she
Yeah.
wasn't even saying, "Do you want to be part?" I don't think she was asking Jason to be a part of the PCPD. I
No.
think she was asking him like, "Do you want to be a part of like the world outside of crime, which is my world, or do you want to be a part of Sunny's world?" Like that's what I think
Yeah.
she was saying.
Yeah, she's like, you want to be on the quote unquote good side, but you're not
Mhm.
good. That was the problem. And so for me, she's not good because she's a hypocrite in that sense, and she
And
makes
morally gray, and
yeah,
yeah.
morally gray. She makes some questionable decisions. And so for her to, like, equate herself as the good guys versus Sunny is wrong to me, you know?
Mm, mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't it's I like Anna being morally gray. I like her. I don't care about the double agent thing, all of
Oh,
that.
yeah. But,
I know you don't, but I I just wish she wasn't commissioner. I think that she's so interesting when she's able to play the role of like kind of mercenary, if you will. Like, I'm gonna just solve the thing. Like, I have a big thing to solve, this is what it is, as opposed to like, I am commissioner and all
right.
law, good and bad, is through me. I actually like it when she's able to maneuver in a way that is not that. That's why it was interesting when she was trying to take Victor down,
Right.
because she was able to maneuver however she needed to maneuver. And so on the flip side of that, I think that's why it's hard to watch the relationship with Sunny be what it is, because apparently what made her feel a way about Sunny was that he beat up Cyrus, whatever. But we now know that so much of that happened because he was off of his meds, because normally he could control his
He's,
like
yeah.
impulses. And that and we have more recently seen her depend on Sunny. Like she's talking about shooting Charlotte. Well, when you shot Charlotte, where did you go?
Right.
You went to Sunny's house.
Right. When you and Valentine were on the run, where did you go?
You went to Sunny's,
Hideout.
hideout.
Right. So it's like, it's weird. But you know what? I was just thinking about that person right now that has a moral gray and can maneuver in the way that they want. It's not Anna anymore. It's Mr. Brennan.
Mm, mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And for some reason, and then I'm owning this, is maybe it's because I care so much about Anna and I've known her a longer. I feel that I don't like Anna being in a position where she's not able to do that. And I'm
I agree.
admiring. Yeah. And
I
so
agree.
I'm like, now Brennan is that person. Brenna is becoming the new Anna. We don't even know him that much.
I wouldn't say all that.
I know, and like, but he's like they're positioning him to be the new Anna, and Anna has to be the cop, the mean cop that's coming down on everybody.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
whereas
Yeah,
because
I it's even when you think about like Pikeman, for
mhm,
example, like we don't know what Sonny does, but
right,
it wasn't illegal to the level of what Pikeman was doing.
right,
And Anna was like kind of okay with whatever Valentine was doing with Pikeman. So
exactly,
if you're trying to take Sonny down, you haven't pointed to me what Sonny is doing for you to want to take him down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so back in the day when the mob was like such an element of the show that it touched everything, you would see people disappearing, people being murdered, like the town felt dangerous under the
hmm
mob. And so
hmm
when the cops wanted to take on the mob, that made sense because you're like, yeah, this is like a criminal element. I mean, you might like Sunny or whatever, but there's a criminal element here. She's talking about taking Sunny down. I'm like, y'all haven't shown us anything that Sunny did.
right. He's still in the coffee business.
Right.
He's,
Like,
he's just selling coffee. What do you?
and told Pikeman no.
Right. And
And I,
essentially, he's in the other side of his business is more about protecting Port Charles from the even more dangerous part of the business, right? Quote
yeah.
unquote. He's not
Hmm.
trying to have, well, before Pikeman situation, he's not trying to have guns running through there. He's not trying to have a lot of drugs running through there. He's just in importing whatever he's importing. I don't even know what like we
Me
don't even
neither.
know what he does as a mob person.
Me
We
neither.
don't
I
know
have no
any of
idea.
that.
I have no
None.
idea. But anyway, that was interesting to see them. When Sonny kicked Anna out of his office, that was crazy. Like, what's going on? Where is Scott Baldwin? All of it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Right.
Um,
It's probably part of this whole mystery scheme. Like he has some sort of plan up in his head. Because
mhm.
again, we don't know why he felt like I feel like there's some sort of plan he has to trap John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith because he's like, let me pull Ava out of this. We're not explaining why, and it wasn't part of the plan that he was discussing with Jason. So there must be something afoot that we don't know.
We'll see. Um, Nina and Ava have a conversation.
Hmm.
I will say, here's what I'll say about them. I've never cared about their friendship. Um, but it was wild to me that after all of that defending of Nina that Christina has done, that she would have the time of day for Ava.
Mm-hmm.
Christina has done nothing but defend this woman, has done nothing to be like, I'm so sad, like, I love you, blah, 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 all of that. And then she like sat and had time to talk to Ava about whatever happened as if she was like giving her this chance that she wasn't giving Christina. Okay.
But you know what? I think they were good scenes, and I
Yeah.
kind of still like the. I don't know. You said you didn't have any time for Nina and Ava's friendship. I actually kind of like that dynamic a little bit,
Hmm.
because they were just both. They're both flawed human beings, and everybody needs a friend. And so, I mean, Ava has Trina, but you can't talk to Trina about those. She can't talk to Trina about some of the things she's done.
Well, she shouldn't,
She
but that's a whole
shouldn't.
nother
Yeah.
conversation.
And so, having Nina to be able to be 100% honest with and truthful with, I want that for Ava. Um, and so I thought the scenes were actually really good and poignant. So shout out. One question I have is again, what is Nina doing? Who did she call and be like, "You owe
That's my
me"?
question.
I
That's
was
like what
like,
I literally have this written down. I
I was
said, wait, what did I say? Who did Nina call for a favor? Like that's exactly
Right.
what I have written down.
And what is it about?
I don't know. I will say I think that what the Nina Ava scenes speak to what I have always said when they were trying to cast, when the show was trying to cast, and when Nina was trying to cast herself, it's like, I have nobody, nobody loves me, I don't have any friends, I don't have any family. And I was like, yes, you do. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have the people that you necessarily want, but Maxie and James never went anywhere.
Right.
Like, you've always had people who you could lean on. You had Curtis, you had all of these folks
Yeah.
who, like, no matter what, stood on your side.
Yeah. That wasn't
Ava,
Ava. The
Ava has nobody.
Where Ava has nobody. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't necessarily appreciate the relationship for Nina's sake. I need it for Ava's sake because Ava
Hmm.
is literally alone right now.
Alone, no family, and
Right.
her only friends is like a 20-something-year-old
Right.
and half a Nina.
Right.
She
So
and then oh boy.
and yeah, who's going wackadoo.
Right. So it's just like I don't know, like for me, I wasn't a fan.
Hmm.
Like I'm not a fan of like casting it as if Nina had nobody when it was Ava who really truly had nobody. So
Right.
like you, that's the only reason that I had any kind of time for the friend
Hmm.
that scene,
Hmm.
even though I've never really cared for the friendship.
Hmm.
The other thing, we had finally, or not finally, a Joss versus Trina showdown. And I say
Ooh.
finally because, well, fake showdown, but I say
Yeah.
finally not because I want to see Tross fight, but because we know that's the way that soap friendships go.
Hmm.
Um,
But it is
I
a
had a lot of
real
feelings.
thing because even like way back in the day when I was young, and me and my friends would have beefs with other girls,
Hmm.
and we would be like, "If you're that person's friend, you can't be my friend," type
Hmm.
thing. And so those kind of conversations are real. It's never really about an adult who used to be a mobstress and then she pushed another woman out the window. But it was just, but friendships can be like that where you're
Hmm.
like testing loyalty. Like, how can you be friends with this one person when I've known you the longest and I've had your back and you're blah blah blah, and
Hmm.
you're devoting energy to somebody else who's not good for you or not good for us. Those conversations are real. So in the sense when you said finally, I was like that kind of conversation was overdue because it's usually that happens in best friends.
Hmm.
You have those kind of tests, and they
Hmm.
hadn't had that test, and particularly when it comes to a person that someone the other doesn't deeply dislikes, and they're like, why are they hanging out with this person? Do they not care about me and how I relate to that person? And I thought we were friends. So
Hmm.
for me, that's when you say finally, that was like finally they had this conversation because I can't imagine them still being the best of friends and not talking about this at all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll say this. So obviously,
Yeah.
people know that I'm a Trina fan, all of that. I'm also a Jocelyn fan. And I've
Mm-hmm.
never not like anytime people would try to pit them against each other or all of these things, I would always say, I don't get that. Even Jocelyn, whenever she has story, it's always attached to mob shit. It's always attached to her parents. And part of the reason that Trina doesn't have story is because look at what they've done to this character. They've taken her away from Taggart. They've made her Ashford, and now she's never in scenes with the Ashfords. How is that like Black Hospital shows up and she is somewhere else doing something else always. She's never in those scenes, which doesn't make any sense. And so for me, I have always people like their friendship is one-sided or Jocelyn's not like people have left this in our comments like Jocelyn's not honest with her. I've always felt like yeah, that's probably really lonely for Jocelyn because the reason Jocelyn is not honest with her is not like, oh, I don't like Trina, I don't care about her, she doesn't deserve the truth. Is so that Trina is not implicated in foolishness. She's always held Trina away from any of the mob stuff, from anything illegal, from anything that would have her in any kind of trouble. And then on the flip side, what we see is that Ava brought her directly into some bullshit with the feds. And I would prefer her to have people, well, I'd prefer her to have her own story, so she doesn't have to be in either of these people's like orbit in this way. But I would prefer her to be with a friend who knows to protect her against this than somebody who like puts her, if you're scared of Jagger and you are scared of Sonny, why would you then tell Trina any of this to have her directly in the line of fire with Jagger? I mean, not that anything would happen from Sonny's end, but from Jagger and Sonny.
You know, because she's gonna want to do something to help. She's gonna
Mm-hmm.
want to like be like, I have a good relationship with Sonny. Maybe if he listens to me,
Mm-hmm.
then this will change. I can totally hear her in her mind saying that, and then going over to Sonny and be like, can you please like no not threaten
Mm-hmm.
Ava or that kind of thing. Or when when they were in their adventure phase, thinking that they can solve all the world's problems and coming up with stupid ideas,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that kind of thing happening as well. Unfortunately, Trina is alone in this kind of adventure thing, so she really can't be making those kind of stupid decisions. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to your point of even when Trina was like, I appreciate Trina being able to stand up for herself. I'm always like that, even if I think she's wrong or if I don't completely align with that. I liked Trina being able to say, what's the issue? What's the problem? You got something to say it. I can appreciate that. But in the like content of the fight, I don't think I was on Trina's side in it. Even when she said something like, well, you protect other people or you look to the other side of other people, like, yeah, I think it's fine to point out Jocelyn's hypocrisy in that way. And nobody that Jocelyn looks the other way from has ever hurt Trina or her family. And I always thought it would be interesting if they basically had Jocelyn start caring about Sonny again, or like defending Sonny again, because I thought that would have been a very natural point of tension between her and Trina, because Sonny was like the aim for when Curtis got shot. But Sonny's not even a person that that Joss still defends. So I don't understand the like, well, you look the other way. Yeah, I look the other way for nobody who's ever hurt you, because if somebody hurts Trina, Jocelyn ain't messing with them.
and she doesn't not quite look the other way all the time. Like she will give Sunny the business whenever she sees him. It's always on site for Sunny,
Hmm.
and so she doesn't. It may be that true aim would be for Jason because
Yeah, I think she was
Jason's
talking about
oh
Jason and
yeah
her mama.
yeah and her mama right because she don't be looking the other way for Sunny.
No, no.
Right.
Um, so it, but, and I also think that like if they're gonna have them have, this is also because they don't have a young adult scene, so you can't really have them have real drama. But the kind of next day of it all, I wasn't. I just feel like if there's a difference between somebody who's like, I don't like you, she has a bad relationship with my family, whatever, versus like, I believe this woman is the reason my brother is dead. It's like a different kind of like drama. So it's always been like a very tight ropey kind of relationship. And when it was still Sydney's trainer, I think, that relationship evolved like very like organically. And it was like, this relationship is actually beneficial for both characters. And I think that I would love them to like continue to write it as being very beneficial for both characters, because the way I see their relationship now is that some of that stuff she could be talking about with her mama, and you can bring Portia in to have a conversation with her daughter where she's actually listening and caring and offering real advice, as opposed to being like, you okay, do you need anything, let me fluff your hair, let me, you know what I mean, like Portia has always only been kind of used as the like, are you okay to Trina, not let me actually listen to what you're going through, and like offer you advice.
And they built that dynamic purposely when Portia was against her and Spencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because so it was before, it was like Ava was the mama she went to because Ava didn't judge her relationship with Spencer the same way.
Yeah. And
So,
a
but
little
it's
bit
a
before that too,
yeah,
because it was like Ava was coming off the Kiki thing, and so
right,
having this
yeah,
relationship with Trina like made her like, it was like, oh, it's other daughter, and it like but then on the
right,
other hand, for Trina, it also like kind of further cemented her into the canvas because
yeah,
look at all the people who care about her. And we're
yeah,
actually missing that from what they're doing with Trina now, of like Trina was like used to be surrounded by, she talked Ned into like funding a whole like gallery walk.
right.
I would love to see Trina like brought back into the fold this way, and certainly brought back into the fold with her own family.
Hmm.
So that's how I saw it. I think that it was a waste of time for me personally. I think the conversation was a waste of time if they were only going to have a day of drama.
And there's still potential drama that could be had. I mean, they
Yeah,
haven't had the
true.
conversation about Christina and TJ. And so, but we don't know what side
Ooh,
Joss is on in that sense. But she say, I can totally see her being like, it was Christina's baby or
yeah.
whatever. And so there could be a level of tension there.
hmm I definitely
So,
think Josh is going to be Team Christina just from the
yeah,
guilt of it all.
right.
Yeah.
From how she treated her in the past and all that. So, yeah,
Yeah. I will say that when Trina was talking to Ava, this is the other thing I think I was like, dang, you like went off on Josh and then you turned around and didn't know if Ava was right or wrong.
right.
But one of my favorite lines of the week was Trina being like, did you lie to me? Or did you lie to the
Yeah.
police? Or did you lie to
You lied
me?
to me. Right. That was Trina testing Ava on their
Mm-hmm.
friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one thing for you to lie to the police, but you shouldn't have lied to me about it.
Yeah.
And then that's when Ava was like, right, this is what happened. But you do stay out.
Ava folded because
Fold it.
Trina got serious. And
Right.
Ava said, all right, I fold.
And then Trina serves as a reminder of Kiki in that way because Ava
hmm
does not want to make that same mistake of lying to someone she considers a daughter in her life.
hmm
So Trina is definitely Ava's Kiki in that respect, and she doesn't want to
Yeah.
make that same mistake.
hmm I liked also when Trina was like apologizing for Joss, and Ava said, "Don't you dare apologize for her, and don't you dare apologize for me." And I
Right.
think that's right on, and
Yeah.
that's why it is essential that we give Trina like a story and some business, because right now she's just like stuck in between a little bit of nothing.
Like now that because of that, and not to say that her story should all be about Spencer, but still, what is going on with Spencer? Is he alive or what?
I
Whatever.
mean,
Anyway,
I think that they either need to tell a story for her that's not Spencer or
sir,
bring Spencer
or
back.
back, right?
It's one or the other, because the limbo is, I think that because people know this character is not dead,
Hmm.
because people were invested in this couple, people are always going to be looking for Spencer to come back.
And
And
I'm
so
hoping, yeah, and might be a segue or whatever, but I'm hoping Jonathan Jackson isn't back just because of Lulu.
I don't know, but I do know
Yeah.
that he said he was going to be back for a while.
Yeah, he is going to be back for a while. So, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping, like you had guessed, that he may be back because of Spencer in some way.
Did I?
Like you were like, well, we were trying to figure out why he was going to be back on the scene. I think it was you saying that he's investigating Spencer's death or something like that, or he
Oh,
found out about it or something. I know it was
I'm
I
smart.
remember the idea, but I know it didn't come from me, so I was like, it must have been Tracy that came up with the
Maybe
idea.
you saw it on social media or something. I don't remember
Yeah,
saying
like
that,
he's
but
like he knows what's going on, or he's investigating in some kind of way, and I don't know. So,
yeah. I
but
mean, I just,
if he ends up being the one to bring Spencer back, that would be amazing too.
yeah, I mean, I just think that like either bring him back or don't, but give her something to do.
To do,
And that
yeah,
also wraps up in giving the young adults something to do because none of them have anything to do. We
yeah, and
saw
then Giovanni was like, "What? Why is he here?"
I don't know.
Right.
He doesn't even talk to her. They had like the one scene. That's the thing. I think that there is like, I don't know if the show is like trying to figure out what to do because they know the screen is so popular and they're like, we got to ease people into this. Um, but it's not working.
It's not.
And I mean, part of it is also you can't have a lot of scenes or like a lot of story for Giovanni if Jocelyn and Trinity don't have story.
Right.
Where
So I
is the
think
story for them?
yeah, they're trying to have another story for him at this idea of like, is he Sonny's son or is he, like this apocryphal jazz musician mom who's dead. Like they're not even following through on that too much either.
Yeah, no,
So
they're not. It's not good.
yeah,
I don't understand it. I really
did you
don't.
just put a thumbs up on
Oh, did I? Did that
that was
happen?
cute, yeah.
Oh,
No,
I
it was
didn't mean to
like
do
a
that.
bubble window or something.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally turned on my air purifier because I have to take it off, turn it off,
Okay.
and then anyway, um, not the point. I do want to talk about. Let's get into baby Irene's funeral. Let's get into what you came here
Woo!
for.
Woo!
Let me say this. I have never been more invested in Tali than I was here in my entire life. And the entire like from the inception of the couple until now, I've never been more
Yes.
invested than I am right now. I know that Molly was harsh. I know she could have been wrong, but I was like, get her.
Yeah, because man, I gave, performance to Kate Mancy, but partly because she played the over dramatic to the hilt.
I
And
wanted to beat her up.
I was like, girl. I was like, you own that. You own that craziness that you did right there. Cause it was
So
like
let's start from the very beginning. First of all, why they getting black people them dry ass bagels? We don't do that before the funeral.
right, we don't eat. If we're gonna eat, it's not gonna be bagels.
We not having dry bagels. Somebody should have been in the kitchen slinging some eggs. Okay, we're not
Right.
doing this.
Eggs, bacon, something, even if it's turkey bacon, whatever. They seem like the family to eat the turkey bacon.
Turkey,
But it would have
turkey,
been
turkey
like
bacon.
turkey bacon. But still, it would have been like that would not have been bagels. That's
No.
crazy. Like biscuits. Like if Aunt Stella was in the kitchen baking homemade biscuits and honey. Like that's what, or butter or something, and
Right.
grits, gravy. I don't know. Just like bagels. So
I
wild.
was like, who is in the who is in the writers' room? And why did nobody tell them we don't eat bagels for the breakfast before a funeral?
Before a funeral.
Bagels
That's
ain't gonna
a
sustain us while we crying.
no. We need a full repast. Okay. What's wrong?
I was like, and even afterwards, I was like, where the chicken wings at? Nobody?
Right.
Where the baby shower meatballs? Nothing? We just, it's no food at the clenching, as Star will call it. Like, so, so anyway, they named the baby Adela, or not Adela. Ooh, look,
No,
me.
Irene.
Molly for the come through and read me.
You
Irene
named that
Marie.
baby what? That was crazy.
Irene Marie. And Molly goes over there because she says, I'm gonna go talk to Christina about this because she knew
She knew.
Christina was gonna act a fool. She goes over there, and then Jagger comes in. Jagger looked crazy. You know what I wrote down about Jagger?
Right.
I said, Jagger is giving me JD Vance energy. He was like, when he said, if you're gonna go bury their dead without you, bury their dead.
They're dead.
Do you know how to
Oh,
human?
you're talking about a little baby.
Do you know how to human? It
No, he
was
don't.
big JD Vance energy.
That
Like
was horrible.
it was like I
My
couldn't
jaw was
believe it.
dropping. I was just like, really?
But here's what I'll also say about what GH has been doing lately is I feel like things have been intentional. So you have earlier Christina and Alexis talking about like, do you think they would feel this way if they knew that I was going to keep the baby? Let me go put these papers up.
Right. And you put them in your
You put
briefcase.
them in your briefcase. And
You
then
should have.
Jagger comes through. I didn't even think until Molly saw the papers about that happening. It
Right.
felt really slick and it
Right.
felt like, oh, this is intentional. People are planning ahead
Yes.
and it
But it was
shows in the
good.
story.
But
Yes.
it was good because it was like, here you are focusing on one drama of Jagger trying to pull Christina
Hmm.
out of the funeral, not at all thinking like, oh my God, Molly's about to find out what Christina did. So that was actually, it was planned ahead, it was intentional, but it was good,
Right.
right?
No, that's
It
right.
was
It made
so
it made me
good.
feel like, oh, we soaping.
Right. They
Soap
were
is
hella
back,
soaping.
baby.
Soaping hella.
Like I was like, oh, and so then everything about the funeral was framed around Molly knowing this information.
Yes. And so being super sensitive to all of Christina's shenanigans, being super sensitive to mom not paying attention to her at all, being all of that. And then having dad come, it was so perfect. It was
When
so perfect.
so somebody posted this, and I know Tara, because I've been talking to Tara a bunch about this, but
Right.
she had said before I even saw the video, there was like a scene back in the day where Rick and Alexis were going at it. And Rick was like, "You're always gonna pick Sonny's son or Sonny's daughter over mine, and you won't even know that you're doing it."
Yep.
So what I love about this is 20 years in the making of a story.
Right.
That's the thing about this. Having Rick when he came up, it just felt like, oh yeah, Daddy Rick is
Yeah.
home. Daddy
Right.
Rick is home. And I say that to say that like it's so important in soaps when people play a character so well, you don't have to like the character for you to miss them. Rick kept Carly in a panic room. Carly is my favorite character. And I
Rick is
still
the
was
most
like, Daddy's
he's
home.
he's the most problematic character ever. He
Ever.
slept with Sam. He kept Carly in a panic room. He's done some horrible things.
Played
But at the end of
Nina.
the played Nina, but at the end of the day, oh my God, yes, Rick is back because now Molly has somebody.
Daddy's home.
Daddy
This is
is
how you
home.
play a character, people.
Right.
That he has done all this, and we still were like, yeah, we missed you, bro. We needed you
Yes.
here. And so
Read Alexis, read
when
her, read her.
when Molly walked out the church and he hugged her, and then when Alexa said something about him being late, he was like, "Well, glad I'm here because I walked and I saw our daughter outside crying alone."
Alone. Right. Right.
I said, "Get her, Rick." Every time Christina acted a fool, Rick, his side eye was so perfect.
And
Every single
every
time.
single time. And then Alexis crying, pleading, Molly, don't hurt Christina's feelings. Ma'am, you no.
No. So let's stay at the funeral. Let's stay at the funeral.
Okay.
At the church. At the
At the
church.
church. All right.
Christina interrupting Jordan?
That
What? That was insane. How do
she
you stand up before Jordan can speak?
she was like, hold on.
I have something to say. And it gives this whole speech about, and this is the other thing I said about, when the show tries to manipulate people, and I was like, I'm not gonna be manipulated or swayed by this. There's a reason why we never saw TJ and Molly getting ready for that baby.
Because they
And
wanted
it's
us to feel sorry for
for
Christina.
Christina. And that's the
Right.
only thing that she had. Because, and I talk about this all the time, when they had like the Lante versus Spixie thing, when Maxie was pregnant, anytime you went into Lulu and Dante's house, you saw the crib. The
Yeah.
crib was in the living room.
Right.
So it kept reminding you, oh, no, 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 we're getting ready for this baby. And they tried to not do that with TJ and Molly, and it didn't work on me.
You're like, I ain't falling for it.
It didn't work on me.
Yeah. No, actually, because I think in previous episodes I was feeling a kinship towards or defensiveness towards Christina,
Hmm.
but this week because she was so over the top with it, I was like, oh my god, no, you are
It was
so wrong for all of this.
it was even, I'm sorry I forgot this, at the house with Alexis,
Yeah,
when Molly came in, Christina, when she was like, oh yeah, TJ's at the house, she's like, oh, are y'all fighting?
right. I was like, girl.
Christina. And even when Sam, and I'm so glad it was Lindsay Hartley and not Kelly Monaco, because Sam pissed me off. Because when Sam was like, when Alexis explained why Sonny wasn't there, she's like, well, I wish he would have been here for Christina. Why? Christina has lots of support here.
The whole family, the
Like,
whole family was on Christina's side of the room.
what are you talking about? You
Right.
had Molly and her black family and Rick.
Right.
You had everybody else with Christina. What are you saying?
Everybody. Michael and them, all of them. You
Willow,
know?
Jocelyn,
Willow,
Dante.
they were all
Like,
on Christina's side.
right. Alexis and Sam couldn't even separate away from Christina for one of them to be with Molly.
Right.
No. So, and again, like they said, if Rick wasn't there, then what?
She would just been with the black family.
She
She
would
would have
just had her
been
black family.
family. And they were already feeling some kind of way about her for like not being with
Mm,
TJ. So she
right.
wasn't even 100% comfortable over there.
Right. But now they with her. Now they like,
Now
oh
they're with
no.
her. Oh yeah.
And so then she gets up there, she gives the speech, and then when they're leaving, when she acts a fool, I loved every moment of Rick's side eye. Like, is she? I feel like Black Hospital 2 was like, what?
What did she do?
What's happening over here?
Right.
And like,
No.
I think if Christina hadn't have acted the way she was, even while she was pregnant, I do think that TJ and Molly probably would have included her more. I can understand how she would feel away. I'm
Yeah.
not a monster against Christina. I can understand why she would feel away and how she would feel away about it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was like, we want to give her this name, even if they would have, you know, I think that if they wouldn't have been salty and already thinking that like it was her fault that the baby died, all of that,
I think they would
they
have
would have brought her more in.
because I imagined like I was like, oh, maybe they'll name the baby Irene Christina or something like that.
Right.
That's what I
Exactly.
was thinking. But then they I know Molly wasn't even thinking that because after she found out about the papers, and then
But even before that, her and
before
TJ
that,
were
yeah,
talking. They were
yeah,
like,
there was
no, that was
Phil.
on her.
That was all her. She shouldn't have been in the room. She shouldn't have went to visit Ava. It's all her fault. So
I
yeah,
don't think it's all her fault, but I do have to agree that it, like, y'all want to keep bringing up that she killed Connie. So if somebody's a killer, why are you going up here pregnant by yourself?
right. Thinking, oh, I could just tell Ava to drop the subpoena all by myself. Thinking like
As if
you're
Ava was
going
going to listen to her.
right.
It
Like
just
Ava
was
owes her
silly.
anything. Ava doesn't owe her anything.
It was silly.
It
And it wasn't
was.
even like, I'm going to go to Jocelyn, or I'm going to talk to Chris, or I'm going to talk to Trina, even though, Christina was Team Esme back in the day. I ain't forgot. Um, like, she didn't do any of that. It was all silly. So then when they get to the gravesite and Molly lets her have it. So she overhears her calling the baby Adela. What did you call my baby? Oh no, what did you call my daughter?
Just it just the what did you? Like that's not her name. What'd you call her? And and I think Molly might even know what Adela is, right? So
That's
it's
her
Sonny's
grandmother.
mom.
Yeah,
It's
that's Rick's mom.
Rex, yeah. So she
Yeah,
knows,
yeah.
you know. And then reason why that Christina is in this trouble is because of Sonny. And she gonna name her daughter Adela
She said, "You chose your criminal father."
over my baby.
Molly read her down
I
when
mean,
she
besides the
did not care.
right. I mean, let's gloss over the fact that Molly's dad isn't exactly a upstanding citizen either, but still, yeah, the judgment was
Well, even because I think that also what kept her going was she was like, like when Christina basically told her she wouldn't know what it was like to carry a baby. That was nuts.
oof.
Why would you say, like, I get it, they're like it's claws out, but that I
Yes.
think really got her going.
Oh
And then
yeah.
when she was like, "Is this why you got your law license back, mom?"
So yeah, so you can take Christina's side. Woo! I mean,
When TJ saw that paperwork,
and TJ being the doctor that he is, he still went over to Christina and was like, "Are you okay?" Because
and
Christina was in
once
hysterics.
and once he found out she was
What?
okay,
He was like, "All right,
we up out of here. Like, it was everybody trying to stop Molly.
yes,
Was I said, "Oh, no, 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 no." Rick was looking like such a proud daddy. He was like, "Get her." When he said something, when she asked her a question about like, "Would you go give the baby?" Rick looked at her like, "You gonna answer the question or no?" And then when she said you didn't know what love was, and Christina literally collapsed forward, screaming, "I loved her." Girl, if you don't get up out of here, I
just dramatics."
and Molly was unmoved. Molly, it was like when she fell forward, Molly, TJ, and Rick all had similar looks of disgust.
Right on there. I think yeah, it's funny. It's because Molly is an interesting mix of Alexis and Rick.
Hmm.
Right. The self righteousness, the moral equivalency, but all of that. Just like, I think that's she's an interesting mix of Rick and Alexis. And
Hmm.
I'm giving Alexis all the side eyes because, even though she knows her daughter is, Molly has every right to go off on Christina, she's like, please, please don't go off on Christina right now. Just begging and crying over the situation too. Like she's just all upset that Molly is attacking Christina right now when
Hmm.
Christina needs all the coddling, all of the hand holding, all of the things. Your other daughter lost a baby, lost her only chance at having a child, and you're taking Christina's, you're not even giving her any kind of sympathy. That's
Hmm.
crazy to me. And she thinks she
Yeah.
did her job by calling Rick. No, that wasn't enough. No,
No, it was not enough.
it was not enough.
I also appreciate it because I think that sometimes a lot of times GH overdoes it on flashbacks.
Right.
That flashback was perfect. While TJ was like helping Christina or whatever, and you see Molly playing back all of the things that they talked about.
Right.
What were you thinking when that happened?
No, I thought it was perfect. I thought it was perfect. Just seeing all the ways that she had been wronged by this situation, especially Christina begging her to be able to be the surrogate. Just remembering that Christina manipulated the situation from beginning to end. It was perfect,
Hmm.
So, yeah, kudos.
And I think, oh, go ahead,
They
please.
I was just saying like, GH had us swept. I was swept.
I was swept. I was swept. I'm
I
still
was
excited talking about it. I
yeah.
think the other piece of it is what is being lost and what Jordan ain't gonna let be lost is that you were going for sole custody. You were trying to take TJ's baby too. Like, okay, I hate the biology argument, but if we're making the biology argument, this is TJ's baby too. And you were like, oh, he could visit.
Visitation.
Visitation. Why
Girl.
wouldn't he be able to raise his child to?
Yeah, like
What has he
co-custody.
done?
Right.
He has not done anything that would make it so you would feel like he shouldn't be in this baby's life. So when everybody was like, "Oh, you know, the mom always gets favored or whatever." I mean, not that we ever know, but I do think that like Christina actually went too far.
Yeah, she did.
And Alexis, the problem is you shouldn't have helped her do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. That you knew this was happening. You didn't even talk about it with Sam. You saw because Sam was at the courthouse calling the baby Christina's baby in front of
Right.
Molly. So
Yeah.
like you knew this was happening, and instead of being like, I don't want my hands on it at all, I love both of my daughters, you were like, well, I love you both, but here's how you would do it. You're holding this secret. Christina was selfish for even talking to Alexis about this. And I
Hmm.
say this, and I want to be clear. I love that this happened, right? Like, I love that it happened because it's a soap. But just because something is soapy, like, we judge how to feel about something that's soapy based on what should actually happen.
Hmm.
So I love that it happened, but what should have happened is Alexis shouldn't have been a part of it at all.
Right. But like Rick foreseen, she's always going to be on Christina's side.
And you're not even going to know it happened.
Hmm.
It's not even going to be on purpose.
And I think it's partly not just because of whose daughter Christina is, but the namesake. Because Alexis
Hmm.
still has residual guilt over what happened with her sister.
Hmm.
And so that's why she favors Christina so much,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. And I think, you know, Alex or Alexis could have easily said, I'm not going to be a part of this. And she didn't. She helped her anyway.
Hmm.
She didn't even offer the feedback of, are you sure about no just visitation? Are you sure? Like what
Right.
Christina was doing was over the top. What Christina was doing was like aggressive against TJ when nothing around them showed that he deserved that. And so for me, I see like the, you know, it was his biological or it was her biological kid. It was her biological kid. Yeah, we knew that. Everybody knew that. Everybody warned them. And that does not matter in the sense of what she did to TJ. That's how I feel about it. And that's how Black Hospital feels about it. Because Jordan was on fire. And I loved it.
And that was just the initial reaction. I am really curious about what they're going to do about it. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
what they can do legally, but
Yeah, I don't
I,
know what they can do
yeah,
legally unless, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope that Molly could maybe do a wrongful death suit. I don't think that they will, but that's possible.
I can
Um,
see Rick suggesting it.
yeah, because he was ready. Molly said something. He was like, "Well, you did win."
You won the fight.
And when Molly named it, and it's so interesting because shout out to Kelly McPolin. She is a Vanna fan and a fan of the show
Mhm.
of GH, and she watches us sometimes. But she had said something on Twitter that I really liked about Molly in general, and just like how parents don't pay attention to the kid that they think has it all together, and that's what is so unfair about what happened to Molly,
Yeah.
because Molly or she would have Alexis would have never done that for Christina. Like if Molly was carrying Christina's kid and Christina and like Molly was trying to keep her kid, I don't think Alexis would have had the same like feelings about it. Like it would have been way more of an issue.
Hmm.
Like you promised your sister that this thing that like of this thing, and she would have reminded her, not being like, I don't want to be in it, but here's the paperwork. I think she would have been like, no, 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 you can't do that.
Right. Because that wouldn't be unfair. That wouldn't be fair to Christina.
Right.
She would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It's like Molly has this older, responsible sister dynamic, even though, like
Mm-hmm.
like always, ignored basically because she has her life together, right?
Right.
She's never had any issues. She's never had, struggles in the same way that Christina has. And so, Alexis always feels like she has to be 100% more for Christina than she ever had for Molly. And
Hmm.
that's sad. That's a tough position to be in when it comes to siblings.
And I'll also say that, what's interesting is that so much bad stuff happens to Christina all the time, and I never
Mm.
feel bad for her. Like they never make her like sympathetic. So like even when
Right.
it was like Kiefer, like of course like it's crazy and like you feel bad about like a young woman getting her hands put somebody putting their hands on her, but then all of a sudden she's trying to get Ethan killed. Like what are you doing?
Right.
Like she's in this cult, and then like everybody got to try to pull her out. Like I didn't and she wasn't to me sympathetic at the time.
Hmm.
I think also there might be a gap between me and no shade to Kate Mancy, but there's a gap in I think maybe I would have felt differently if this was Lexi in the story.
Yeah. Lexi as well, no. She doesn't seem that way anymore. Yeah. I don't know how I just don't see Lexi playing this story in the same way. Because even when she left, she said GH is taking a story that I've been involved in a way that's different than what I would like, or something like that. She said
Oh, okay.
she
I
was
didn't
going,
hear her say that.
yeah, she said something like she was gonna write something different about a similar situation, and so,
Mm,
which I thought was interesting because I
that
I
is
like
interesting.
I don't see Lexi playing it in the same way.
I
So
feel like Lexi also reads a little bit younger.
yes,
And
she seems
so
more vulnerable too.
yeah, and so
Yeah,
I think that with Kate, it's like, girl, how old are you? Or like her with her Christina
yeah,
for me. So that's just something I was thinking about. Um, Other things that are happening that I feel like are a little bit well, you got Home and Heart. I don't care about Accent Gate.
that was just very weird. Someone be like, "Your accent grates on my nerves." I'm like,
Like, who
ugh.
are you? Who are you?
Like, so bye.
I also, for me, I was kind of like, Lois has been Lois her whole life.
Right. And for her to feel so sensitive over one comment was just really weird.
Yeah, it's like, who is this lady? Girl, you're better buy either buy some products or don't.
5 seconds ago, you were standing up to the mob boss, talking about you better not have your money up in my daughter's business.
Right,
And now
right.
she's super sensitive over someone saying her accent was annoying.
Exactly. And then you have like, yeah, and it was like, I just, it felt like sorry, I can't talk. It felt like it was a redemption arc for Haven. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Oh, so now you tried to have Sasha go crazy with
And now
like
you're.
baby cries, but now an accent is a bridge too far. Girl, get out of here. Like, who cares? Um, I will also say, they're selling like the products for real.
Oh, okay. The skincare products?
They're selling a Deceptor and then they're selling purses. And I was like, I thought Sonny was selling bootleg purses.
Oh, see, I was wondering why they made such a big deal over the vegan purses. I was just like, I don't care about the other product. Talk about the scepter.
Yeah,
And
and
I
the
was
way
wondering,
they're
and was that lady who was the producer? Is she like somebody famous that I don't know? Because they
I don't
they spent
think.
too much time on her too, and I was like, I
I don't
don't.
know. I think maybe she's like a designer or something. But
Oh,
yeah, each
okay,
of the purses are named, and there's like a bunch of different purses that are named after characters. So like Jordan has one, I know Tracy has one, and I didn't look further.
okay. I mean, that's
But
fine,
again, y'all trying to take Sonny's job away from him because he sells the
right?
bootleg purses.
Is
So
that what he does?
I have no idea.
I still don't know what he does. All we have is the coffee. Y'all need to be selling the coffee. The mugs are cute and everything, but we want to know what this delicious coffee is. Everyone says it's the best coffee ever. I actually don't like coffee, so never mind.
I do love coffee, so.
I know. Remember, we went through that battle before.
um, Other things, we have the Sasha and Cody hookup. And all I could think is, has he showered yet? That's all I think.
Since he rescued James, then he went immediately into, Bound Chicka Wow Wow with Sasha, and then he changed his clothes, and then he went to teach the little girl about riding the horse. I don't know. Has he? I have no idea.
Okay, so here's my truth. I hope that Michael and Willow break up, and I hope Michael and Sasha get back together.
Yeah, we always felt like that, except we felt like we need Willow to get caught so that Michael can go to Sasha. I don't care about Cody. Cody's like an afterthought. Willow needs to get caught for her, cheating ways. This is the
Hmm.
second time she's cheated. She cheated with Michael. Now she's cheating with somebody else, and that needs to be caught. And it looks like James is going to be the one that's spilling the tea,
He
which
do
is
know.
funny.
He do know. Susie said the first time he beat her in what did he say? She said in Roblox or something like that. That James is gonna be like, "That's why your mom's a hoe, Wiley."
Oh my God, Wiley's gonna be like, Mom, James said that you're a hoe. Why is that? Yes, that would be hilarious.
um, the other thing we got was one more thing. Where is it?
Lulu.
Lulu? Sorry, that's how much I don't like Lulu. I was like, where is it? What
What is
happened?
that? Okay, I was super curious. Okay, because at first I really thought they were just gonna kill off Lulu, but now I don't think so. And then so they had the hospital scenes with Maxie being amazing as usual.
Hmm.
They were painting somebody's nails, and I kept looking at the hair. I couldn't tell if it was an actual human in the bed or if it was like some mannequin. But anyway, I was trying to look at the hair to see if I can get any kind of indication that they're bringing somebody back for Lulu. And so that's the curiosity I have. Are they bringing her back?
I mean,
And
Lulu
if
don't even get the Laura treatment. She can't even get a blonde wig and a rocking chair.
right,
She's just a hand.
as the hand. But whoever, and I've heard that they're like Julie Marie Berman is not coming, not interested or not being asked.
So I don't know. I know that there was a rumor a while ago that they were like recasting, and it was
Yeah,
because there was like sides or like a store, like a whatever put out that felt like it was very similar to Lulu.
right.
And then M, who played Lulu last,
Said that they
um,
did not want her to come back.
yeah, she said that it
So,
wasn't her. So
so I'm
the show
hoping
has not said anything.
if it's Julie, that would be amazing.
I don't know. I mean, I never liked Lulu, even when it was Julie. I like Julie,
Right.
but I never liked Lulu.
I
Um,
like the way Julie plays Lulu,
what
but
I
I was
mean,
always Team Maxie. But
I was always Team Maxie, and
yeah,
I've never forgiven Lulu for her role in Michael going to jail. Now
yeah,
I have to
yeah, oh
just say
yeah,
to forgive Dante because Dante was like a cop, and Lulu like betrayed her family. I no, I've
yes.
never forgiven
I
her.
yeah, I haven't forgiven that. I haven't forgiven that acting, that action. But Julie Berman played that well.
Hmm.
I hated her, and I hated her for a good reason because she played that character well. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What here's what I didn't like, or
I
what I'm
was
not a fan of.
yeah, okay.
I don't like them pretending like Dante is still hung up on Lulu.
Oh yeah.
I I get it kind of, but like Sante has gotten so little screen time, but they have like created this like blended family. They're cute every time we see them. I just would like for Sante to be more than like some Lante placeholder. Like I'm just not interested in seeing that. Um Yeah, I don't care for it. And I am nervous about it because you have Maxie being like, I never told Dante like how you felt about him. And then you had Dante talking to Chase like, well, like I never, you know,
Never stop loving Lulu.
and she doesn't care. She didn't care about
Care
me.
about
She had moved
me.
on.
Right. I hope Sante wins out, but I'm actually intrigued by the drama of it all.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you. I'm not intrigued, but I hear you. I respect
yes.
that.
Right.
Um, I will say that I was shocked to see Cyrus.
Right. We're all like, who was in the hospital? And we're all thinking it was like Kevin,
Lucky,
but
right, or
like,
somebody.
it was like Cyrus. I'm like, all right, but I'm hoping he stay. I mean, Cyrus is crazy, but I don't like him just being this, pop up every once in a while. I need him to have a juicy story.
And we have to be seeing him again because there's no way they brought him on to just do that.
That right. Maybe he's also involved in the Lucky thing. Maybe
Maybe
he hasn't really,
change his
changed his
ways.
ways.
I mean,
Maybe
he
he's involved in the Lucky Spencer story.
maybe that is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I did love Maxie in those scenes. She played very well against the hand.
The hand.
Um, I also will say that I think, with Rick being back and Lucky being back, I think that the show is like trying to bring back old viewers. And
Yeah.
so what we saw was like a storyline around bringing back old viewers. You had like a really good scene with Laura and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You got Rick back, you got Sonny and Jason doing their thing, you got Anna doing her thing. I didn't particularly care about the thing that Anna was doing, but she looked damn good doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like this is them trying to have a resurgence of, okay, these are people that you know and you love, and
Mm-hmm.
look at the story that we're telling with them. That's
Even
why the funeral was so good, because even if you
and
didn't know
yeah,
these characters, that shit was banging.
like even the regression of Ava, that's almost kind of being back into to the old days where she's not. She was sort of on the verge of being forgiven by the whole city, but now she's back to being the pariah. So that's even back. That's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's back into the olden days. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to what's to come. And
We'll see. I did have a note here about the disconnection between the Ashfords and the surrogacy story,
Mhm.
because something I noted was that jo- Laura brought Jordan in, didn't mention her losing a grandchild,
Mhm.
but was like, "Oh, this thing about Lulu, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Huh." Okay, that's interesting. That like you are not seeing people give the Ashfords the respect of they were about to lose. They like lost a baby, a member of their family.
Oh yeah, because if it had happened to Laura, everybody would have stopped. Everyone at the whole hospital would have been at that funeral,
Yeah,
talking
but not.
about, oh, poor
Yeah, but
Laura.
even like her being in a scene of
Yeah.
not being like, Jordan, I'm so sorry. I know you just lost a grandchild. This thing's
Right.
happened to Lulu. Do you feel up to it? And like at
Right.
least letting it being a question. But it
Yeah.
wasn't even that. It's just like, oh no, I gotta go. My
Yeah.
daughter.
Right.
Um, so I just felt like that. Um, I had Jason and Dante talking about Danny was kind of cute.
Mhm.
And then I also wrote this thing down, and I don't know who said it, but it's I might be unethical but not incompetent. Who said that? Did somebody say that? Or I don't know why that's a note in my notes.
Unethical, but not maybe Scott. It sounds like something like Scotty would say,
Maybe.
but I don't know. But
Well,
he wasn't even on last week, was he? Maybe the week
week
before.
before.
Yeah.
But that's all I got from my notes from this week. Do you have any additional hot takes?
I didn't write. down too much.
Well, there was a lot to talk about without writing it down. It was good enough
Right.
to remember.
Yes.
Uh, Previews for next week. Monday. Tracy is shaken. Laura embarks on a mission. Oh, sorry. Back up, back up. Lucky. He's captive.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
don't think that erases him being a deadbeat. I think that it's a recent captive. So I think that story still has to play out.
yeah. Oh my God, the hate they gave Jason. Ooh. I bet you. I hope they have a lot stored up for Lucky because Jason was only gone for 2 years.
Lucky gotta get hate.
Hate, hate, hate.
Um, okay, sorry. Laura embarks on a mission. Anna enlists Robert for help. Jason hears Brennan out. Brooklyn has an emotional talk with Chase.
Over what?
I don't know. Tuesday, Elizabeth and Carly are dumbstruck. Laura delivers dire news. Molly confides in Dex. That's interesting. I hope Dex is Team Molly.
Yeah.
Rick visits Alexis. Tracy lashes out. Wednesday, Laura makes a big decision. Anna makes her case to Brennan. Sonny's suspicions are confirmed. Ava is alarmed. Christina contacts Jason. Thursday, Christina is devastated. Sonny makes a stunning offer. Drew gets a shocking call. Dante opens up to Olivia. Portia and Curtis discuss the future. Who cares? Friday, Carly puts pressure on Sonny. Alexis faces off with Jagger. Anna is persuasive. Michael worries about Willow. Ava is frightened. So one of the things that we didn't talk about is that Ava, when Sonny came in and was like, Ava, you can come with me. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, you can get with that. This is where it's at. And so Ava sadly chose that. I don't know. And so now she's in supposed FBI protection.
Custody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Custody, protection, whatever. It's all the same.
So that's our show next week. We don't have a whole lot of Lucky stuff. I'm sure that he's going to be involved. I think that whatever they're trying to do, they're trying to keep it like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
close to the vest.
Shout out to the fine boy that's about to come.
Oh yeah, he's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I said that to you because he's from Star Trek.
Whatever. I was just like, ooh. I haven't watched the latest season of Discovery, so I don't know. Which
uh,
now that, the Acolyte is gone, I can get back into Star Trek.
I'm for sure gonna finish Veep this week.
Okay. All right.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for hanging with us on your Sunday. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about
And
Sunday Shift.
comment.
There you go. And we will see you next week.
Bye.